Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah. I'm living my best life.
Hey. Cosa.
You know how they remix everything.
So this was the compa version of Living My Best Life. Hey. It's your girl, Cassie.
It's your girl, Giddy.
And this week's episode, we are talking about living your bestest life.
Yes.
Pooh.
So today, our bossed up quote is...
For this episode is, do more things that make you forget to check your phone. And
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really good.
And I think it ties in very well with living your best life versus living your best life for others, right? So we're in a society where we're so focused on social media. If it's not on my Snapchat story, my IG story, it didn't happen.
Right.
So being more mindful that experiences are meant to be experienced, not necessarily being recorded. So are you living your best life, or are you just pretending and showing us that you're living your best life?
Is it possible for you to do both, though?
You definitely can do both, and I love to do both.
Yeah.
To be honest, if I'm on a trip, I'm on something, you're going to see.
Yes, because I paid for this trip.
I paid for it.
Yes.
I look good. You know, when I travel,
Yes.
It's like new hairdo, new this and that. I look good. My
Catfish.
lashes done. Catfish Cass in the building. Hello. Here I am. Catfish Cass. So I want you to see my fun experiences, but sometimes I realize, like, sometimes I look at other people's Snap when they're on a trip, and it just stop recording, right? I'm like, they probably, they're not doing nothing that night.
Mm-hmm.
But bitch, you're probably out having the bestest time. They're like, they're just not recording it.
Mm-hmm.
So having more of these authentic in the moments where we don't have to pull out our phones too.
And I think our mutual friend, is really good at that. It's kind of annoying.
Right, sometimes I'm like, are you okay?
It's so
okay?
annoying.
Right, she is not our best friend, I guess.
Yeah.
She don't care for social media at all. When she posts, I'm like...
But you know what's funny, though? I call her, like, these lurkers, like, because she'll
watch
watch
your
every...
story. She's a friend. She be watching my story. Yes.
She'll sit there and watch everyone's story, but never, like, post anything.
Right. And her life is fantabulous. She's going through this adventure right now. And if it was me, every time I'm somewhere, it'd be...
Bruh.
And it's like, God don't put some...
Exactly.
Because he knew I wouldn't have been able to handle it. Every time I'm on the plane, I've been like...
Because I'm, like, excited for her experience. And I'm like, yo, can you tell people so I can post it? So I can brag about it?
No, she's very low-key. And, I'm also mindful, like, when I'm around her, not to record... She acts like she's, like, the president's daughter or something, to be honest, like, how secretive she is. But, like, when I'm around her, I don't record as much. Like, I really am in the presence. Like, you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
So even, like, being mindful, because that's how Jen is, too.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really post a lot. I'm the poster. They be like, dang, you have to post
Me
that?
too. I was worse, but now I'm getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot better. And I think a lot of that, too, I had, like, a few experiences where people was telling me more about my child. And I was just like, whoa, I feel like you're too... You know too much, I don't ever want you to feel like you know so much about my life that you're able to tell me what I have going on or what I did. And I had to, like, step back some, but back to living our best life.
Living our best life,
So, Cassie, I'm beating you to it this time. What does living your best life, like, what is that for you? What does that mean for you?
Wow, that is a great question. And I feel like I can't stand you. You should see how she's acting right now. I feel like recently, maybe these past couple of years, I've been living my best life. And for me, it's like I'm being authentic and I'm doing things that I want to do, not anyone else is telling me to do this. So one thing I love, and it's probably one of my self-care thing, is going on trips.
Yes.
Bro, when I go on a trip, it's like I'm a whole different person.
I am bougie.
Girl, you know me. I have a new hairstyle. I got my lashes on, my nails done. Like, I thoroughly invest myself in that trip.
Yes.
Like, I went to Mexico. I was speaking Spanish the whole trip. Like, oh my goodness. Sí, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Wow.
Yes, so, another thing is brunch. I love going to brunch. I just like being around my friends now more than ever, and like just being around them and just talking shit, and just having fun, like just fun. What about you, Giddy? What is living your best life?
I think for me, like before, of course, it was going on trips and just wasting money.
Honestly.
Wasting money, like going on trips like every so often. And that for me was living my best life. And then, of course, I had a child. So then that stopped. And now I'm trying to rediscover and just start living my best life again, whatever that means. So that's like me finding the balance between parenting and self-care and going on these trips and going to brunch, hanging out with friends. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, trips are really not expensive, y'all. No. If you plan
accordingly ahead of time. And when we travel, we like to do cheap stuff. We just make it look good.
Cheap. Even if we got to fly Spirit for a weekend, it's okay. It's okay.
So what are some tips that you have for some people who want to live their best life, but they don't know how to start, or they don't feel like they're living the bestest life they could?
I think the easiest one, the cheapest one, is just brunch.
Yes.
It makes you feel so bougie and just so,
hello. Caucasian, might I add.
Right. We brunch on Sundays.
It was a period, maybe 2 years ago, we was going to brunch every single Sunday.
Girl.
We was sick. My bank account had to be sick.
Girl. But you got a ball on a budget. So if it's just like, you're going to brunch, but you're going to order the burger instead of the salmon.
Right.
You got to do it.
Or like, you could split the bottomless mimosas. But back in the day, bottomless was not expensive. It used to be $5.
Right.
It's when brunch got really popping. Now it's $12, $20 at Tap 42. We don't go there no more.
Right.
Park
Bulls
Tavern
Market.
and Delray. Bulls Market.
That was the spot.
Oh my gosh.
Such great ambiance. Like it was
an upstairs and a downstairs, so drinks was flowing, but they shut that down. But Park Tavern and Delray is my favorite brunch spot. It's cheap and the food is good. That's another thing. Brunch spots, food don't be good because they're hoping that you're going to be lit enough that you're not going
that you don't even pay attention
to the food.
Yeah, like the balcony, I hate their food.
I hate the balcony. And you know where else? The balcony is trash. Tots and Tacos is trash. Rocco's Tacos.
Oh, I hate
trash. So this became a brunch episode, low key. Yeah.
Well, we have a trip coming up.
Yes, we have a trip coming up, and we're so excited. So we need to figure out a name for a clique. But earlier this year, we went to Mardi Gras, and we had a grand old time.
It was lit.
But it was cold.
It was cold as... Oh, my gosh. And you couldn't wear the outfits you packed.
Girl, so let me tell you, once again, when I go on vacation, I have my cute little fits, right? So my little... I call it open your body outfit. You know, calico outfit.
Started and bopping outfits.
Y'all, we looked at the weather, but we didn't think it was going to be that bad.
No.
We got there the first night. It was just cool at night. And then that first day, it was fine and it rained. And then it was
I remember that Monday was just hell. And we were out all day. Oh my gosh.
We were so cold.
I wanted
did not
to cry.
Enjoy anything. Mardi Gras was so much fun, but it was so cold. Yeah. And as soon as the sun went down, it's a wrap. Let's go home.
It was torture.
Let's go home.
We were just like, by that time we had been gone for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
so
and it was a pretty
over
long
it
trip.
too.
Yeah, it was a longer trip.
Yeah, it took all my PTOs.
So this year, next year, we're going to do a cabin trip in Atlanta.
On our Caucasian
Well, in Georgia. Yes, in our Caucasian thing. We're going to capitalize on the cold and just do a whole cabin trip. We're going to roast s'mores and have hot cocoa and stuff.
And shoot some deers.
Yeah, that's what the boys are talking about, shooting deers. I don't know how I feel. They're talking about eating it too, but we'll see.
I don't know if I'm comfortable eating it, but...
You wouldn't eat it?
I don't know, because everything tastes like chicken.
Right.
So.
I tasted. They were talking about deer chili.
Oh, gosh.
I thought that would be so warm. So we're really excited about that.
Yes.
I enjoy traveling. I know Gidna does too.
Yes.
It's just, I don't know, it's just something about it. Like, you feel like you're in a whole different person, your whole and the excitement, too.
Yeah.
Like, when I be at work the week before my trip, nothing bothers me.
Girl.
You could tell me anything. That's okay, because I'm not going to be here next week. So you don't have to talk to me how you want to.
And then spending that time with your friends is just beautiful, creating that.
Memories.
Yes. So...
And you feel so regenerated when you come back. Like, you have full of energy. And like you said, like, being around your friends. Those are things that you tell your kids about. Like, I used to be out. I used to be.
Right. Out thotting and bopping.
I know. Yes. You don't got to lie to me. Your mommy was out doing that stuff too.
Right.
I'm not new to this.
And then it's like when you have kids, you won't regret or feel like you missed out on anything. So, yeah.
So brunch and traveling, some people could say that's very expensive. So what are some other things that they could do to live their best lives that's more on a budget?
Living your best life could also just mean self-care. So if you just want to do like a facial or just get a mani-pedi, like it doesn't have to be you spending hundreds of dollars, So just taking care of yourself, your mental health, and protecting your space, that's living your best life. Anything to make you feel better about yourself and the person that you are and you are becoming, that's living your best life, essentially. So
I agree. I think for me, I had to realize, it was a period where trips were getting expensive, and I was like, what is the purpose of me taking these trips, right? And I looked at the purpose like a new adventure or doing something different. We live in South Florida. There's a lot of different free things, especially in Miami, that you could go do. So even if you're a new person or you're like taking a break just for an evening or something, going to new restaurants, going to Little Haiti, Little Havana, those are self-care things. Those are things that you could do that are still affordable, but you get a little break from your day-to-day life. So living your best life does not have to be expensive, but it has to fill whatever purpose that you need.
Yes. That is very true. That's facts.
So, Giddy, I have another question for you. So we talk about, living your best life and doing all these things, outwardly. How would you recommend for someone to live their best life and be the best version of themselves mentally? Can you touch a little bit about it with self-care?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Only because, and guys, I'm sorry, but I always come from like a parent's perspective. That's my reality now. That's like what I'm dealing with and finding ways to overcome or to bridge the barriers or whatever. So for me, I know at first I felt really guilty. Like the first trip I went on, it was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta call Sky, I gotta FaceTime Sky, I gotta make sure her and her dad are okay. Every 2 minutes, I was like boohoo crying because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've never been away from her before. And it was really hard. But this year especially, I was like, this is the year of balance. I have to balance parenthood. I have to balance my friendships. I have to balance dating and whatever it is. And I was okay with going out, and even if I recorded it, at first, I think people were always DMing me, hey, where's Sky? Yes. Where's Sky? Why are you out? Well, do you guys know before I had Sky, before I was a mother, I was a person. I was Gidna. So I have to make sure Gidna is still happy and still healthy. And even my friends, they wouldn't invite me on trips. They wouldn't even if it was brunch, well, we know you're a mom, so we don't want to bother you. Can you please give me the opportunity to make that decision myself and not feel like you have to? I know you have my best interests at heart, but it's really hard. I'm going through a transition and I still want to feel included in things. So this year I was just like, you know what? Forget it. If you want to think I'm a bad parent for going to brunch or for going out one night or for going on a trip, I don't care. That's fine. I'm doing it for me. So I guess mentally I had to be okay with being away from my child and knowing that my child is okay and still having people view me as a bad mom in a sense, because it's when you're a mom, you're not supposed to go party and you're not supposed to go on brunch. You're wasting the money for the Pampers on brunch, So I was okay with that. I'm like, whatever. You guys don't pay my bills. You guys don't do any of that stuff. And my close friends and everybody else around me, they understand. So now when somebody sees me and they don't see Sky, they don't really ask where she's at. She's in great hands. Right. I'm not just going to leave her in the apartment by herself. So, yeah. So, whatever. I don't think that's the question you asked, though.
I forgot what the original question was. But you made a very good point that, you can be a mom and still live your best life. Right. And you can live your best life without necessarily dragging her along with you every step of the way. You could. Right. And that's so important to still, like you said, define yourself and be you before being a mom, before all that. Because you was definitely living your best life before you had her. Gina was somewhere every weekend, bro.
Right.
Every weekend I used to look. I'm like, what's she doing here? And those are things that are important too. And you want to show your daughter that too, that she can take a break. She can have fun. She can all do these things. She don't have to be tied down.
And I think for me, that just... I enjoy that I lived my life before Sky, because if I didn't, I would be so depressed and just, oh, Jesus. But yeah. What about you? How do you practice living your best life, but mentally?
That's a great question. I started journaling.
Ooh.
Right, which is something I always talk about, but I've never really done.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's going good. It's been really hard. I realized that I've been distracting myself with a lot of things lately. So, like, let's go out to eat. Let's go do this. Let's go out. Versus really, like, just taking a period every day just for myself to just kind of reflect on my day or, like, reflect on how I want my day to be. So, I started journaling. It's going okay. But even kind of... like you said, taking days for, like, doing face masks, things like that. Taking time to cook instead of going out to eat.
Right.
Just spending more time doing things by myself is very important for me. Because I am very introverted. It doesn't seem like it, but I recharge by myself. And when I'm around a lot of people. I didn't know that. Yeah, so when I'm around a lot of people, you'll notice, like, I don't know if you notice, but even for me, like, after a certain time, I just kind of shut down. It's not funny. I don't want to talk. Don't touch me. Like, I think you're so freaking annoying. Get away. I want to go home. Actually, for this trip. And that's because, like, I've reached my social, like, interaction limit. So, like, sometimes for me, before I go on trips, or if I know I have a weekend that's going to take a lot out of me, the previous weekend, I'll just stay home. I won't really do anything like that because I know I'm about to have a draining time. So I think, having these moments, you become very aware of yourself and what you need. It's very important that you spend time with yourself to be the best you that you could be.
Amen.
Because you sitting here going to brunch, you drinking all this time, but dang, what's the real issue, right? And we also don't want, living your best life or doing all these things, going on trips, going to brunch, being what's the word I'm looking for? Being like a replacement or like an unhealthy coping skill for what's really going on.
Like hiding away or running away from the truth. Or
distracting yourself because, you can't be by yourself or you're afraid to do this or do that. So we're living our best life intentionally.
Right.
If I need a trip, if I'm so overwhelmed, I need a trip, I need to handle that first before I go on the trip. I hate being like, I really needed this trip. I was so overwhelmed. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be like, I want to go on a trip just so I could go on a trip.
Right.
I was overwhelmed. I dealt with it. Now let's go, be live on a trip. Not because, oh my gosh, I had the worst week. Even like drinking or doing all these things, I don't ever want it to be like, I had a rough day. Let me have a drink. Because that's when it becomes unhealthy. Yeah. It becomes addicting and all these different things. So being very mindful. I talk about this all the time. The purpose of your action. Why are you doing that?
Right, the why behind it. I think for me, too, another, like, inexpensive thing that I do, I movie hop a lot. So, like, I've gotten caught a few times. But, like, I'll purchase a ticket for, like, a early afternoon movie, and I'll literally stay there all day. But now, like, the Cinema Palace or whatever it's called, they have like assigned seats. So I've gotten caught, like, and I'll just be like, oh yeah, really? Let me check my ticket because I think that was my number 2, and just get up and then go on the other side, wait till the movie like started, and then go in. So that's really, you get to spend time with yourself and you just reflect, and you just have to be okay with being by yourself too. That's, some people, like, they just can't be by themselves, and I can sit there all day and just be by myself, watch the ID channel. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I can watch that and just have a great time.
I think you made a very good point. Being by yourself, a lot of us were carrying a lot of trauma, a lot of baggage, a lot of different things. So we use all these different things just to kind of, once again, escape or ignore it. But for you to because our goal here on this podcast is to bring you to a place where you're healthier, you're doing things better. And for you to do that, it's addressing those demons, addressing those elephants in the
awareness.
Room. Right. Like, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have those tough days.
Say that again.
It's okay not to be okay. It's like sometimes you just have days you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to talk to anyone. You just need to be okay with that. You can't be, people are draining. And I don't know what, you necessarily believe in, vibes, emotions, blah, 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 blah. But, like, there's really, like, a transference of energy or, like, all these different things. I don't know how much I believe in that. But I know that when I'm around someone for too long, I got to go. Like,
I do believe in, like, energy, like, being... What's the word I'm
transferred?
Looking for? Yeah, transferred. Like, that's big. And you got to protect your energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because some people are just energy drainers, energy suckers, Yeah. And especially, like, if you're an empath, which I'm sure you are, being a social worker and all that, we're very giving people. Yeah. We deal a lot with people's issues. So, like, you got to think about that. Like, people are taking your positive energy and they're leaving you with all their baggage or their negative stuff. So we had to do our work ourselves to replenish ourselves. Right. Because that person's going to leave you. They got what they needed from you. Yeah. But you're the one that's broken and you're the one that has to fix that still.
And I think also, too, with living your best life, it's also learning when to say no.
Hello.
Because if you know you can't afford that trip or you can't afford brunch, it's okay to say no. And a lot of us have FOMO, like fear of missing out.
Yes.
So you say yes, and then you come home, you're even more depressed than how you left because it's like, man, how am I going to pay my car note now? I just spent that money. Because I was, like, balling and, I passed out. Shots on me, So saying no, that's important, too. That's protecting your peace as well.
And that's something I'm learning because I do have FOMO. I don't like missing a trip. Like, why would y'all go have fun without me?
Right.
Or I don't like missing a brunch. But you got to understand you're not that important. You know what I'm saying?
The show still goes on.
Right. Yeah. The world will revolve around you. And that place, that city, that brunch spot is still going to be there. Because one thing I hate is going on a trip with someone who's counting their pennies. I hate it. Because we always have emergencies on trips. Like, something always happens, a car getting towed. Like, it
somebody
just happens.
losing the keys or something.
Something always happens, and we need you to be financially stable to deal with that.
Right.
But no, I can't. It's not in my budget. I don't have it. I don't. Stay home.
Right.
Stay home. And you should be able to check yourself that I don't have enough and a half for the trip.
Right.
Because the half is your emergency funds, which, once again, it always happens. Mm-hmm. So I think, living your best life is being honest with yourself.
Yeah, before I go on any trip, I make sure, like, I have the money set aside for all my bills or I pay them ahead of time. So it's like, okay, this is what I have for this trip. And just in case, let me put this aside in case there's an emergency or whatnot. If I miss a flight or am I able, do I have enough funds where I can just book a flight right on the spot,
Right, because those are things that really happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially, like, I remember one time I went to Chicago, it was snowstorms. Those are things you got to think about.
Right.
You got to go, you have to work. Those are things, if you got to rent a car and drive.
Yeah, so it's very important that you are prepared mentally, financially, and just know that you're not just having fun. You have to be responsible as well.
And
that's
especially we're older now. We have to act like we're older too. Yeah. So living your best life is not as impulsive as it was back in the day. Oh, yeah, let's just go. No, it's informed decision. Right. Educated guesses. Okay, I'm going to be able to do this in this timeline for this reason. So living your best life now that we're older is much more work.
Yeah. But ultimately, self-care, that's the most important part of living your best life. Because internally, you have to be at peace. You have to be in a great space so you can enjoy whatever it is externally or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So thank you guys so much for catching us on this episode. It's your girl, Cassie. Don't forget to follow me on IG at QueenCass_X3.
And this is your girl, Giddy. I'm Giddy Love J1. At IG. Yeah. Oh, and also I have a business. I'm sorry. Let me promote this.
Girl, we're so crazy. We didn't talk about it. I forgot. Go ahead.
So you can also follow me on Skylar's Crown Oil. That is my hair growth hair oil. Yes, go follow, go purchase and let's
Get you
grow
some inches.
our edges and get these inches 2020.
Period, poo. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.